My grandmother, when I was a little girl, she used to always say, pretty is as pretty does. And I never knew what that meant. So, pretty is as pretty does. Beauty does come from within. And so, if you are beautiful on the inside, you'll be beautiful on the outside. If you are ugly on the inside, you're going to be ugly on the outside. So, no matter how many treatments, how much Botox, how much fillers, new face, whatever, if you're just not pretty on the inside, then you're just not pretty.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk. We feature the top medical practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Angelique Kebb, owner of Spa Angelique, a medically guided skincare practice in Griffin, Georgia, and she's been in the aesthetics industry for over 20 years. She's the founder of Radiant Skincare by Spa Angelique, and she's known for her results-driven, corrective approach rooted in science, safety, and true skin barrier health. She is also co-chair of the Cosmetic Advisory Board for Southern Crescent Technical College. Her colleague, Kimberly Rollins, and she rewrote the aesthetics program for the Technical College System of Georgia in 2019. So Angelique, welcome and glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here.
Yeah, so let's start from the very beginning, Angelique. How did you first get interested in the medical field?
Well, it actually was the aesthetics field. And now I've just recently switched over to a med spa. So I'm technically an esthetician, but I do have a medical director. Her name is Dr. Lori Martin. But what put me into the aesthetics industry as a whole, believe it or not, is I had this thing about eyebrows, and I wanted to be able to wax eyebrows. And in order to do that, you had to be an esthetician. At the time, I was a nail technician. You had to be an esthetician or a cosmetologist in the state of Georgia. Still, that law still applies. And so I went to school to become an esthetician, and now I don't love waxing eyebrows as much. Instead, I have a true passion for skin. So,
got it. Okay. And what led you to decide to start your own practice?
Well, as an esthetician, I can only do so many things within my scope of practice. But having a medical director, it allows me to kind of push the envelope a little bit more. And it allows us to be able to use treatments such as peptides, exosomes, a deeper depth of microneedling, things like that. And so I don't currently have a nurse practitioner in my office or an RN, but we have some things in the works. So here in the future, we will be able to offer more of the medical aesthetics, such as Botox fillers, things like that. For now, it is, I'm trying to guide people in the right direction and let them know that Botox and fillers is not what fixes your skin. It fixes wrinkles. So my goal is to educate people about their skin barrier and better health overall.
Okay. And let's dive into that. What is the skin barrier?
So the skin barrier is actually your epidermis. You have your, different layers of the skin. You have your epidermis and your dermis. We as estheticians, what we're trying to do, what we should be doing is actually reaching that dermal layer, not just the top layer, because, as everyone knows, this is kind of your dead skin. But it's dead, but it's there. So the barrier is, pretty much what the word means, barrier, to block, to protect. So it's to protect the cellular level. And what people are doing now is they're just using all these products that they see, find, buy, whether it's in store, on social media, on TikTok, following influencers, and they're just not treating their skin the way that it really needs to be done.
Okay, got it. Now, since you focus a lot on skin treatments, I want to focus there. Like when it comes to skin treatments, what exactly do you provide people with? Like we'll start with microneedling. Like what is microneedling and how does it help?
So microneedling is, I and one of my colleagues, well, several of my colleagues, we like to call it the gold standard in aesthetics. It is the only effective treatment that can actually change the appearance of your pores and your fine lines and wrinkles. And what it does is it helps to promote collagen and elastin buildup. Now, once you lose collagen and elastin, you cannot get it back. But you can do things such as microneedling that will help to boost it. It micro wounds the skin. So when you're micro wounding, what you want to do is go back with the right ingredients to rebuild and regenerate those cells, like I just talked about in the dermal layer, so that when you do have this barrier, your skin can be more fresh and more supple.
Okay. And what about when it comes to advanced skin resurfacing treatments? Like, what do you do for that?
So I don't offer any laser services, but I do have a colleague here in town that I refer over to her because she is a certified and licensed laser technician, and she's been doing it for 20 years as well. I like to offer chemical peels when the skin is intact and can handle the right chemical peel. My favorite is the VI peel. I do the microneedling, or sometimes we only do nano needling. So it doesn't go as deep. It doesn't actually wound the skin, but it still helps with collagen and elastin. And then I also like to do micro channeling, which is through a company called Step, EPI. And they have a great machine. It's called the EpiPen, EPI pen, not like the kind when you have an allergy and you need to get shot, or a bee stung you and you need to get shot.
Yeah.
So it depends on the client. It depends on where they are in their health journey. It depends on medications. There are a lot of factors that go into it before I can decide like what a person would need and what would benefit them the most.
Got it. Okay. And you also combine different modalities. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what's the purpose of combining different modalities?
So, let's see. Okay, so for example, I have a machine. It does microdermabrasion and hydrodermabrasion. So with that, I can go in, I can start out with micro, and that's going to exfoliate the top layer of that skin with small aluminum oxide crystals. Then we're going to remove that, and then we'll go in with the hydro. And what this is going to do is it's going to suction out those pores, because microdermabrasion, it will exfoliate away those dead skin cells, but micro in itself will not do extractions for you, meaning to clean out the pores. So we would do microderm, and then we would go back with hydro. And then after that, we do what's called the kissing action and put good serums back in those cells. Then there are times when I have done like a V, and some disagree with me, some are all for it. There are times when I mix modalities such as, and a VI peel is not a modality, but we can do a VI peel along with microneedling to really get great results. That would be for someone who is fighting extreme hyperpigmentation or those extra fine lines and wrinkles. But this is also going to be a downtime of about 7 to 10 days, because that the skin is going to peel and peel and peel and peel.
Mm.
So it's just once again, it depends on the person. It depends on the health of their skin as to whether or not they can do one or more treatments at a time.
Okay. And what would you say some of the most common myths or misconceptions people have about these types of treatments?
Um, that microneedling can be done at home,
Mm.
and that these chemical peels can be done at home, that you can buy them on the internet and do them at home. And I mean, you can't. I don't think that, I'll just say the world understands what we really do as estheticians, or even anyone in the medical aesthetics world. Um, we really do have to study the skin, the layers of the skin, the nerves, the muscles, how it all works together, um, how diet and everything affects these things as well. So these people who are on social medias that are doing or attempting to teach people how to do these things at home, honestly, they just really should not be done at home. You only get one skin. And once we have more people coming in to repair the damage than we are of, can you be the first one to do this? And it's really sad. Like, social media can be great, but I feel like social media is ruining a lot of people and their skin.
So be careful about at-home advice when it comes to some of these more advanced treatments.
Truly. I mean, it's even with the like LED masks, and I don't think that people can be harmed by these LED masks, but I will say that a lot of them, just a lot of a waste of money, a waste of time. And they're not putting out there like how many nanohertz, because it needs to be a certain number of nanohertz in order to get down into that cellular level and actually do anything to the skin. So people are walking around with all these red LED masks on that really aren't doing anything. And I have clients who will ask me all the time, well, what about this one? What about that one? So not only do I work in the treatment room, I work outside of the treatment room, constantly researching, just constantly like looking up this company, looking up that company. Yes, you can buy this. I mean, my clients know, especially those that have been with me since the beginning of time, I'm going to be very truthful. If I feel like it's a good deal, then yes, I'll tell you to buy it. I had a client last week. She sent me one that she saw on television that morning that was being promoted by, a big company. And when I looked at it, I'm like, they're not even telling you how many nanohertz. So that's one of the things. If they're not being completely open and forthright with what this mask or whatever it is going to do, then don't buy it. And definitely don't buy anything that has needles and attempt to do it yourself.
Okay, very good to know then. Now, now you did kind of touch on some of these areas where it's a lot of research, a lot of education, and even other areas that go into skin health. You mentioned diet as well. So, what would you say is some of the most common skincare mistakes that people make, or maybe just aren't even aware of?
I would say the most common is that people don't really understand SPF and what it does, why you really want to use it. You have different ends of the spectrums. You have those who say SPF is poison, and um, I will say in some instances, the wrong SPF, yes, they can be poisonous. They have carcinogens in them. They're finding this all
Uh,
out.
Basically, it's what are some of like the mistakes that most people make when it comes to skincare, or things that they're just
Oh,
not aware of?
right. Back to, so also with SPF. So also people think that if the number is higher, like if it's higher than 50, and so I have people, oh well, I'm wearing 100. 100 is, it's really anything above 50 is not your friend. Like you don't need anything above 50, and it's just a fact. It's a scientific fact. I don't remember where I read it or where I could pull it from, but I guarantee you I will find it. But anything above 50, you're just, because the titanium dioxide or zinc oxide that's in there, and this is the other thing with mineral sunscreens, you won't find anything, you should not find anything above 50 on the market. And mineral sunscreen really is your best friend. Yes, it's a pain in the patootie to apply because you've got to press it in versus rubbing it, because the more you rub, the whiter you get. But if you press the SPF in, it will work better. Also, I didn't know this, but I had a friend who told me, she's also an esthetician, who she's had clients who have said, well, I thought that the number 70 or the number 100 meant the number of minutes to wear the sunscreen. So that's false. You definitely want to reapply every 2 hours, especially if you're like outside all day long.
Okay. Now, on the other side of that, for people who are working inside most of the day, maybe barely go outside, maybe just to get to their car, drive to work, and then they're inside all day until nighttime. What what would you say to those people where it's like, well, I'm not in the sun, I don't get much sun, I don't need sunscreen? What would you say to someone like that?
I'm still going to disagree with that person and tell them that even when you're in your car, and you're walking, I don't care if it's 10 steps or 20 steps from your front door to your vehicle, you're getting those sun rays. I mean, now the person that is getting in their car first thing in the morning while it's still dark outside, if they're getting to work while it's still dark outside, and then they're leaving when it's dark outside and they're getting home when it's dark outside, okay, you can probably get by with it. But for the most part, SPF just needs to be part of your morning routine
Okay.
every single day.
Okay, well said. Now, when it comes to, I mean, kind of the industry, like there's a lot of non-medical,
Mhm.
non-licensed people out there. Some of them might be TikTok influencers or things along those lines. But what's the dangers people need to kind of be aware of having someone who's not medical or not licensed give you advice or even work on your skin?
So I don't know if you saw it recently, but there is a lady in Texas who is about to go to prison for life. Um, she um, she was not an esthetician, which in the state of Georgia, and I think it's really across the country, even estheticians, we cannot do any type of injections, Botox, fillers, nothing where we're pulling out a needle and doing anything like that. So she is about to go to prison because she was not an esthetician. She also was not any type of medical professional, yet she claimed to have a license. She had a medical director that was also not, he wasn't licensed in the state of Georgia. He was licensed in another state. And she did lip injections and the person died.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's on Instagram somewhere. I'm sure I can find it. Anyway, you can find it on Facebook and or Instagram, most likely TikTok. So, I mean, that is the worst possible case scenario, obviously, but also I know here locally where I am, there is a gal who's running around town as a mobile injector. She claims to be an esthetician. She has injected a person's lips in her home. She did not do it properly. She didn't go deep enough. She just did superficial. So, fortunately for this person, her only repercussions are that she remained bruised for like 2 or 3 weeks and she has lumpy lips and now she's got to wait for it to go away. So that's your least case scenario. You just look like poopy doo for however long. The worst case is death. And then there's obviously everything in between.
Okay. So with that in mind, then, like, let's say someone is looking for some type of aesthetic provider to help them with their treatment, but let's say they don't know anybody. What advice would you give to that person so that when they're doing their search, they can find someone who is experienced, knowledgeable, licensed, and who can help them get the results they're looking for?
I mean, to be honest, just be very open with the person that you are going to see. Ask for a copy of their license. And if they won't give you, or, can you just show me your license? And if they won't do that, that's a red flag. If they get defensive, that's a red flag. If you are not bold enough to ask that person and you feel like it might be a conflict, what have you, you can always go to your state board and find this out, which is through your Secretary of State. You can find this out on any esthetician, cosmetologist, massage therapist, um, nurse practitioner, doctor, any of these. I mean, it's, our license is out there. It's public knowledge. So if you are going to someone and you're just not sure, ask for their license. And then, like I said, if they become defensive or they don't want to show you, that is to me, that's your answer right there.
Okay. Now, when it comes to your experience, Angelique, I'm sure that you've had some challenging cases or memorable cases throughout your experience. Is there maybe one story that kind of stands out to mind that you're able to share of just one of those cases and ultimately how you were able to get them a good result in the end?
Oh, so it's one that I'm actually currently working on. I have worked on menopausal rosacea clients. I've kind of, with me also being in menopause, I'm moving into that. Let me fix all these menopausal women because our skin does change dramatically and drastically. And we're finding that people are hitting menopause even in their 30s. So this can be going on to your 80s. But one in particular that I will say, and I can't wait to eventually share her results, is I had a lady who came to me very red faced, lots of broken capillaries. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm a professional, but the professional word is a word I've never been able to say in my whole 20-year career, but it's telangiectasia. That's about as close as I'm going to get without sounding like a dummy. I'm just very open. That's one word I cannot say. But it's the broken capillaries that you see on people that have a lot of the redness on the chin and wherever else. So I put her on my skincare line, very calming products. One of the serums has arnica and zinc in there to help minimize the redness. Put her on my SPF, which is a mineral zinc and hyaluronic combo, and my cleansing balm, which is very, very calming. So between that and then I only did 2 treatments. It's called the Skin Classic, where you zap those capillaries without the promise of, hey, they may, I mean, I have to tell you there's a possibility they can come back.
Mm.
But within only 30 days, the amount of redness reduced like significantly. So I'm excited to see where her journey takes her. In other cases, I've had clients with extreme hyperpigmentation that I've managed to get rid of completely. One of them is my best friend from school. I'm like, let's try this on you. So it's great to have those guinea pigs. And so even yesterday, she was just texting me pictures of, look at my skin. And she's moved to Florida, and she and her husband are at the beach like almost every single day. So I'm on her about SPF. But with that said, her hyperpigmentation has, I mean, it's gone.
Wow.
So
Incredible.
that's what I'm most proud of right now.
Okay. Now, where do you think the future of aesthetics and skincare is going?
It's kind of scary, to be honest with you, based on the amount of med spas that are just popping up everywhere. The amount of, oddly enough, it's very baffling to me. I belong to this medical director group,
Mm.
and they'll just be a doctor. Hey, is anyone looking for a medical director? I don't think that these doctors, because I mean, the money, let's just be honest, is in your Botox, fillers, threads, injecting peptides, exosomes, all these other kind of things. Um, and some doctors are seeing this, but I don't feel like I don't think the doctors, and I don't feel like some of the estheticians or RNs, I just don't feel like people are researching who they're going to work for enough, or who they're trying to be over enough. So it's really in for a mess, to be honest with you. And also all these people trying to do things at home. I mean, there's a gal, I don't know how she popped up on my TikTok. She was live one night microneedling herself. So joined her live. Are you a licensed esthetician? She said, no, I was seeing an esthetician for a while, and then I just started noticing her pattern and how she did it, and I mimic her. So now she's on TikTok. She's not licensed at all. She's teaching people how to do microneedling, and she's selling some kind of peptides that who knows where she gets them from.
So people have
So
to be extra careful.
I just felt, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I want the government to come in and like hone in on us, but um there needs to be something needs to be done, that's for sure. And I don't know what step that is or who to go to. But I don't feel like we don't need to be like micromanaged by the government, but I feel like it needs to be governed more so than it is.
Got it. And with the future in mind, what is your vision for your practice?
Um, so this vision I can't tell yet because it just came to me over the weekend,
Mhm.
and it's still a secret. So you'll have to come back to me in 2.5 years. I'll just give you that.
Okay. Well, it sounds
I'm sorry.
exciting.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Angelique, I do have one last question for you, but before I ask it,
Okay.
I do want to point people to your website at spaangelique.com.
Yes.
Now, last question for you. What does
Okay.
beauty mean to you?
Oh, so this goes back to, and I didn't know this until I became a grown up. My grandmother, when I was a little girl, she used to always say, pretty is as pretty does. And I never knew what that meant. So, pretty is as pretty does. Beauty does come from within. And so, if you are beautiful on the inside, you'll be beautiful on the outside. If you are ugly on the inside, you're going to be ugly on the outside. So, no matter how many treatments, how much Botox, how much fillers, new face, whatever, if you're just not pretty on the inside, then you're just not pretty. And that's beauty to me.
Very well said. Well, there you have it. Angelique sharing her expertise. So, Angelique, where can people contact you and your practice?
So obviously spyangelique.com. Then there's Spy Angelique on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok. You can reach out. The phone number is 678-408-1107. You can also send us a text. I'm pretty much available all the time, unless I'm behind doing a treatment.
Awesome. Well, Angelique, this is great. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for sharing your message.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for having me. This has been great.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.